Good morning, good people. Today is Saturday, where'd I go? There I am. Saturday, November 23rd, 2023. And here we are, 23rd. It is about 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a nice, brisk day, fall day. Let's see, what's the temperatura? It says 61, but it feels like 58. Okay, cool. So it's a nice day outside. Okay, well, that was kind of weird. It shows that this has been on for 8 minutes and 34 seconds. And we had a computer shut down in the middle. So that's kind of weird. So we'll see what happened there. But it is now 6:08 in the morning, about 6:06 in the morning. Here we are once again. So this is probably going to be, this is going to be an interesting day. But here we are once again. This shows that it's live. I don't know. Let's see if I can go on my phone and see what's happening. Phone. 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 And see what's happening. Time loop. Okay. So it is live. And it shows minus. Okay, well, I don't know. Let me start as if it's new. Good morning, people. Today is Saturday, November 23rd, 2024. Here we are in wonderful Pahrump, Kentucky, west of Sin City, east of Death Valley, in Area 51, Art Bell, George Norrie territory, etc. My name is Edward Bevilacqua, and this is G.school. So G.school is part of our daily routine, our daily activity, but not really. So our goal is to help our students and interested people on their journey through this transcendent life. The belief is this is not all there is. We do not advocate for la vida loca. You only live once, so make the most of it. No, that's not our belief. We believe we have transcendent souls, and this is a journey, not the destination. It's not the whole package. It's the trip to Disneyland or wherever you go. Wherever you decide to go is where you're going to end up. And you don't want to end up in a place that you were not planning to be. So our goal is to help our students get to where they need to be, where they want to be, where they should be. Today's theme is what if? What if? And that's kind of my final paper in this class, Theological Foundations of Ministry, in the graduate program in pastoral ministry at Santa Clara University. So I've finished 9 weeks, 2 more weeks. Well, we don't have class this Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, so this is a break week. Next week, the week after that, is the final class, turn in papers, etc., etc. So a lot of work to do between now and then, but feel well positioned. So still have a lot of work to do. Have to get my annotated bibliography. And the theme of the paper is what if? What if? So we're going to talk about what if today, some of the ideas on what if. But let's look at our worksheet. Today's worksheet is advice from an 80-year-old. Be a good winner. Be a good winner. Why? For the same reason you should be a good loser. People will play with you. If you're a bad winner, nobody's going to want to play with you in the future. And when life gets to be not good, you got to be with other people. So I was reading something today, and the person who wrote it many, many moons ago, reflecting on life, said, I don't trust anyone. So I pondered that and said, that's not really a good strategy. A better strategy is to trust more wisely, because we're not going to get through this life well if we don't have other people helping us. If we're out on our own, it's going to be really tough. If you go through life not trusting people, it's going to be tough, because not everybody wants to hurt you. And life is a lot easier if you have people helping you. So here's what happens when you don't trust. You project that to other people. Well, this person I'm dealing with here is not going to trust me. They don't trust me. They're projecting this. Is it because they're not trustworthy? Is it deep down I can't trust them? I don't know, but I don't like not being trusted. So mazel tov, goodwill to that person. I'm just going to move along to other people who I can count on, because can you really count on somebody who doesn't trust you? Can you actually count on someone who does not trust you? No, you can't count on them, because when there's a little hiccup, they're likely to say, aha, see, I was right, not to trust that person. If you get in a pinch, you go to somebody who doesn't trust you. No. So good people, people who are productive people, people who are trustworthy people, there's nothing to gain by associating with people who don't trust you. Okay, they're going to spread ill will. Somebody who doesn't trust, oh yeah, you can't trust him. Well, the person's totally trustworthy, but if you come from a position of I don't trust anyone, good people avoid that person. So if you take the subset of all people, say it's a normal distribution, you have on this side the people who can be trusted. You have on this side the people who shouldn't be trusted. And down here, the lower extreme are people who should not be trusted at all. You can't trust them at all. So if you treat these people over here that can be trusted as non-trusted, they're just going to not get involved. So who are you going to be dealing with left? Who's left? People who are not trustworthy, people who you should not trust. And is that going to support your fundamental belief that you can't trust people? Yeah. Why? Because they can't be trusted, and those are the only people that are going to deal with you. Whereas if you take your normal distribution, your bell curve, and you say, I'm going to get better at deciding who to trust. So now you're going to chop off much of this end. You're certainly going to chop off anybody who has demonstrated they can't be trusted. They're off. So now you're just dealing with people who you got to worry about trusting and people who can be trusted. And if you treat people who can be trusted with trust, if you treat them with trust, they will reciprocate with trust. Why? Because they can be trusted. If you reciprocate by trusting them, are they going to have more involvement with you? Yes, they're going to want to be involved with you. Why? Because they know they can count on you in certain circumstances, in whatever circumstances they deal with you. Why? Because you can be trusted. Right. Okay, so that's interesting. But our themo-memo of today is what if, the idea of what if. So I sent my one-page proposal, which is on the notes down below somewhere. Yeah, I'll add it to the worksheet, to somebody. And the one-page proposal is basically an attempt to get non-Christians to become Christians. That's the idea. And the starting point is evidence shows there's an inverse relationship between Christianity and social ills. As Christianity goes down, social ills, crime, drug use, underemployment, homelessness, etc., go up. This goes down, this goes up. The traditional means, and it looks like thus, if you increase this as being a Christian goes up, social ills go down. And historically, the approach has been very simple. Let's take these people, the people who are not doing well, that are non-believers, let's turn them into believers, and we'll do that by exposing them to the Holy Spirit. We'll bring them to church, we'll expose them to God, and according to parts of the New Testament, parts of Paul, the Holy Spirit will do the work. All you have to do is bring the person to the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will do the work. But then there's these caveats that say, well, if the person's receptive, and if of this, and if of that. And basically the end result is it doesn't work. But the person that's blamed is the non-believer. And of course, that makes a lot of sense, right? If you're a non-believer and you're exposed to things you don't believe in, you continue to not believe in them. So the direct approach, bring a non-believer into the presence of God, into a church, and the Holy Spirit will do the work. Or put them with a community of people who are believers, and it will work. There's an organization here called U-Turn for Christ that has basically almost no people there. This is taking people out of jail, out of prison, drug addiction, problems in their life, putting them in an intensive exposure to Jesus routine. And the goal is that they will become Christians. Unfortunately, the evidence is it doesn't work. And then they'll say, well, the guy is sick, the guy is old, he's getting tired, the blah, blah, blah. But if it's the Holy Spirit who's supposed to do the work, it shouldn't matter. There's no evidence to show exposing people who are non-believers to Christ, to Christianity, actually works. There's no evidence that that's what it is. Yes, there's other things, but if you factor those out, if you take out the control group, there's no evidence that just exposure to the Holy Spirit works. Okay, so the idea is an indirect approach, not a direct approach, not just throwing people in front of the Holy Spirit in a church and having it work. No, the indirect approach is to lead non-believers down a logical path. And the idea is sort of like how we teach people to read. You don't start with a book. We're going to read this book. And then sit there with the people reading the book. Jane saw Dick. You don't start with that. You start with learning letters, learning the basic stuff and the sounds that the letters make. You learn to read before you read a book. So that's the idea. Expose people to the concept of the universe was made by an intelligent being. It just didn't spring into existence on its own. The universe was made, and it was made to evolve, mutate, create, to go from simple to more complex, have a common idea of beauty, etc. And that all of this is a representation of God. Pantheism. Now, we get into that by saying Einstein was a smart guy. Elon Musk is a smart guy who happens to be the richest guy in the world. They're smart guys. They believe there's a God that created the universe. And what they believe in is something that they refer to as Spinoza's God. So if these two really smart people could believe in Spinoza's God, would we go wrong in believing in the same God? I don't have to do all the thinking. I just have to trust that Einstein and Elon Musk made the right decisions, that they're right. I don't need to figure it out for myself. I can just go down their path. And I look at, well, why did Spinoza believe this? And then there's the what if. What if there was this one little shift in Spinoza's life that he was 99.99% there, but there's one little thing he left out? What if we add that one little thing in? Does it change the rest? If we put a drop of tar into a gallon of honey, does it have any impact? Versus if we put a drop of honey into a gallon of tar, does it have any impact? No. Yes, and then no. And so the indirect approach is to say we start with Spinoza's God because really smart people agree with that. And we say, yeah, but Spinoza maybe left out one little thing. You can accept that, but he left out one tiny little detail. And if we add that detail in, poof, everything changes. It goes from heating something at 100 degrees to heating something at 350 degrees. And instead of having warm batter, you have a cake. Just the dial just a little bit up more, boom, you have a cake. And then we go from pantheism to panentheism. Panentheism. Instead of God is all things, nature and God are the same, to God is in nature. God is outside of nature, but God is experiencing nature through the things that God created, which comes perfectly well with the Gospels, where they say the kingdom of heaven is within you. God dwells, Jesus dwells within me. The Holy Spirit indwells in me. So anyway, this is kind of a rambling thing, kind of preparing me for today, just talking it through to myself. Appreciate the people who are there, but think about that. What if? Think about that. Ask yourself, what is a what if question I would like answered? What if what? So for the beginning of the podcast, talking about the thing I read where it said about trust, what if, so if that person said, what if I did get better at trusting people? Instead of it being binary, trust everyone or trust no one, what if it was, how about if I trust the people who are trustworthy? What then? What's the result if I trust the people who are trustworthy? Big difference, right? Going from trustworthy people won't deal with me to now trustworthy people are going to help me. Going from that to that, boom. And stop thinking everybody should be trusted. Just don't trust the untrustworthy people. Just one little change from I don't trust anyone to I don't trust untrustworthy people, or I trust trustworthy people. So we're going to end it with that. Hope everyone is a good day, whatever. Thank you for being here. It's about repetition, repetition, repetition. It's not really about the content. It's about the action. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Show up, building better habits, creating community. And I'm going to say, and cut, and cut.